And good afternoon to our former colleague, Jesli Lapus, and his family in the DEPED. Madam Chair, this representation is a product of the public school system from grade 1 up to my masteral program. So I owe the public school system whatever I am now. That's why I'm very concerned about how competitive we should be. And I do hope that the Secretary will bear with some of the questions I have. The first one is with respect to our MT-PDP targets. Accomplishments for elementary, secondary, cohort survival ratio, dropout ratio. The target for elementary is 91.02. As of 2007-2008, we have achieved this study conducted by, I think this came from DEPED, 84.84, so it's still below. For secondary, the target is 67.48. The achievement level as of the end of 2008 is 61.91, which is still below. Although this is an improvement over the previous year, admittedly. For cohort survival ratio, this is where we see a significant improvement. 75.26 above the 73.0 target, 79.91 for secondary, above the 67.96 target. And of course, the dropout rate has also, well, in elementary, the dropout rate is 5.52. For 2007 to 2008, it's 5.99, higher than the target. But for secondary, it's 7.45, lower than the target of 11.24. Maybe now, Mr. Secretary, how do you assess this apparent deficiency, although still improvement from the previous years, in comparison to the MT-PDP target?
Your Honor, thank you very much for noting that there's been quite an improvement compared to previous years. And we have to recognize that because rates, for example, in participation rate, in completion rate, there are other factors outside DEPED that are not within our control, because most of these are poverty economic related. And then our capacity to absorb is also dependent on the limitations of resources. In terms of, for example, we are trying to use all the available capacity, including that of the private sector, private schools, to absorb. Because our situation now is an accumulation of past decades of boom-bust economies. So we cannot expect to do not overnight, but over 1 year, a 5–10% improvement. There will be a need to make so much adjustment, including the rationalization plan. Having said that, these targets that are set are attainable, the revised targets. Because the participation rate targeted like 87%. And then the 2015 target 100%. This is wishful thinking. This 100% includes everything. It includes IP, includes everything. And in fact, in UNESCO, there's only one country that has achieved is Cuba. It's the only one with 100%. So this is what we're trying to achieve, so that we have a target that we want to reach. But we feel that this target of 95% and 4 to 5% behind the agenda, we feel that these are realistic. These are the maximum that given our and given other countries.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, Madam Chair. Well, of course, Cuba can be used as a very good example because they focus their resources on 2 items, education and health, and they've forgotten the other equally important items as far as human development is concerned. Now, of course, we mentioned aggregate figures, national figures. I'm very sure that the Secretary has disaggregated this by region and also by province, because I think we can easily note that there will be some significant variances when you go from one region to another and when you go from one province to another, so that we can have a more targeted approach to adjusting and improving these figures. Now, my next observation also is on the achievement rate. Again, this came from your report 2008 on mean percentage scores, particularly for year 2. I guess this is the second year of high school education. And the rates are overall 49.26. For math is 42.85%, science 46.7, English is higher, 53.46. Filipino is 55.60. So we're talking here of an achievement level that is about half, 50%, which means in the analysis made by our Congressional Planning Office that the educational system may not be achieving 50% of what we need to achieve. And perhaps this can be gleaned from the fact that, for example, in the case of call centers, I'm looking at English here, I understand that the passing grade for call centers, for those who apply, is less than 10%, which means that 90% of high school graduates and even college graduates cannot meet the international standard for speaking English, Mr. Secretary. Do you have your comment on this?
I will have to agree with you, Your Honor, on the high school, the presidential task force.